At 6 p.m. Zishan on air. बहुत मजा आएगा. I'm looking forward to it. Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone. This is Ishan Isaac with Ishan on Air. I would like to welcome all of our great advertisers, all of our social media followers, and also our key listeners and all the listening audience right here on 95.1 FM and 4060 AM, and all the viewers and watchers I can see through social media. So welcome all of you, and we'll also talk about our key advertisers as well toward the end. But we have a jam-packed program. The first 10 to 15 minutes are always in English, and then we continue with the Urdu and Hindi here on the traditional airwaves. And without further ado, the key aspects of our program today will start with the first 100 days. We'll also look at what is happening from a perspective of Trump's administration, and then the chainsaw. This is not Texas Chainsaw Massacre, as you know, the very famous movie, and Texas is also known for that. But this is everything that had to do with the cuts, as well as the spending. And a lot of people, they think that there's a lot of government waste, and in some situations we need to look at from a productivity standpoint, from a efficiency standpoint. That's where the whole idea about Doge came into being, and how popular it is. We'll discuss that as well. There's a jury out there, and what does that mean for the US and Canada relations, as you can see on the screen as well, because the most gain out of the Trump administration that really happened in the favor of the liberals, or the Canadians, Liberal Party, or the Liberal Canadians, especially because the progressives, or the progressive conservative. Even in Canada, the conservatives are as conservatives as you compare conservatives here in the US. They call themselves PC, progressive conservatives, but it's still, from a Canadian standpoint, they are conservatives. They were leading 20 points, and they actually didn't come close, and Liberal Party, they basically won the election over there. So they got most to gain. And then with the aspect of this whole idea of chainsaw, and how the Argentinian president, his whole, I would say, main focus was on using the chainsaw, and how I would say even Elon Musk, he took that Javier Milei, who is the Argentinian president, his own budget slashing, and emerged from the backstage and he handed him a shiny gold chainsaw. That is where, quote, "This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy," unquote, Musk exclaimed, and said chainsaw, quote unquote. So this is where a lot of people, they lost their jobs, and some people, they went to the courts, and some won and some did not win, and some cases are still pending in the courts. But it impacted the economy as well, because when the government does is its spending and spend money, that is also with regards to the aspect of, and people who are calling me will discuss all of that later in the program, because I'm not taking phone calls right now. We're live all over the world and through social media. So thank you for the call, though. I put you on hold, so we'll get to you if you stay on hold. So, quote, "I had to think fast as billions was lost before my eyes," unquote, when trader Richard McDonald, as quoted by BBC, saw Trump hold up his charts in the White House Rose Garden showing a list of countries targeted by US tariffs. He knew he had to act fast. Quote, "I jumped to my feet because I wasn't expecting a board of charts. I was expecting an announcement," unquote, he says. And this is where the 10 to 20% expected tariff cuts, and nobody expected these huge numbers, unquote. So it impacted the supply chains, as well as how billions of dollars were also wiped off. According to him, quote, there are billions being wiped off share prices every second. So it's really, quote, fastest finger first, unquote. So economic impact. Water institutions, the first 100 days of Trump, President Trump, you may like him, you may not like him. He's our president. And we've got to be very pragmatic in this sense. Elections always have consequences. And that's why a lot of people vote and a lot of people don't vote. In fact, those who don't vote, that number is really high. Those who vote, the number is still low in terms of voter registration, in terms of voter participation, and then voter engagement, and then who actually turn out and cast their ballots. That's how modern democracies work. If there's not enough enthusiasm and excitement on one side or for one candidate versus the other candidate loses. That's very simple. That's how democracy works, and that's how it should be. So, water institutions, that's what BBC is saying. If you ask Trump supporters, you may get a different response, and that's completely fine as well. A clash with academic, media, and corporate worlds. On 21st April, Harvard University's president, Alan Garber, decided to confront the White House head on. So that made news. Diversity projects, a retreat on race and identity. And politics is always about identity. They say it's identity politics, but that's how humans, we are very tribal people, even in 2025. And some things change and some things won't change. And then the rapid remaking of a nation in 100 days. President Trump, very difficult to keep your pulse on how things are moving. They move really fast under the Trump administration. So during last year's presidential campaign, Donald Trump constantly repeated his intention to bring about dramatic change as soon as he returned to the White House. Well, that's exactly what he's doing. Now, this is a very good synopsis of how BBC has captured this, and I'm quoting BBC here. Trump is the only post-war president to have less than half the public support at 100 days in both his terms, but overall approval only tells part of the story. So as you can see in this box right here, you can see all these president higher approval over 50% in 2025, lower approval below 50%, 44% in his first 100 days. And now in 2025, in fact, it was 44%. Now, if we compare that with 2017, it's 41%. So in fact, if you ask President Trump, you say, I've gone up 3% in terms of his approval ratings, right? So numbers, they don't lie. Numbers are just very hard facts. If you look at the highest approval rating in the first 100 days, that was obviously everyone's favorite, JFK, 75%, over 75% approval. He was at 83% in his first 100 days. And then the second closest to him in the first 100 days was President Reagan, 67%. And then President Biden in his first 100 days was 57%, and President Clinton 55%, even 2% higher than Clinton, as we look at the first 100 days of President Biden. Here's how presidential support looks when split along party lines. The longer the line, the more polarized their support. So people who are watching me live, that's why if you have not subscribed my YouTube channel, please do. You can see all these charts. You can see all these very flashy graphs and what have you. And Republican approval, Biden, obviously 11%. Democratic approval for Biden was 58%. Trump 2017, you can see the numbers as you can see below 50% with regards to President Trump, President Obama, and then a little bit over 50% first 100 days, George W. Bush, and then Clinton. And as you can see, all these numbers here. Fewer migrants at the U.S. border, U.S.-Mexican border, total monthly arrests by U.S. Border Patrol, as you can see in March 2025, 7,181. In Biden's, the arrests was also happening, but there were also a lot of people showing up at the border. So this is the source data from U.S. Customs and Border Protection, the agency. And then if you look at the third graph here, is stock market performance by president, S&P 500 index, percentage change since inauguration day. As you can see, Obama, Biden, Trump 2017, Trump 2025. That's where you can see how the numbers have literally gone way down here under Trump 2017 and under Trump 2025. So in the long run, What would be that impact? We will see. In the short term, people are feeling the pain. But hopefully things will get better. We can hope for. Trump, the fastest post-war leader for executive orders. So this is another interesting fact that no president after First World War and First World War II, Second World War, First World War and then Second World War. So post-war leader for executive orders, Trump is beating that number. And he is the one now has set this record. Biden was in fact the second highest now. Trump 2017, in fact, Trump was even lower in terms of Biden when he came as the president. And then George W. Bush, Clinton, Reagan, Carter, Nixon, Kennedy, it goes back to Eisenhower. Only includes presidents who took office after the end of World War II. So not First World War. So this source is only after World War II and after a change in partisanship. So that's also a very important data, the American Presidency Project. And that's the source. And it's also quoted by the BBC. Now, if you think about executive orders, you live by the executive order and you die by the executive order, because the executive order can only last within the administration. The next president will come in and he will or she will. And people may say, Zishan, you're saying she, it may never happen. Yeah. Who knows? It may never happen for the United States of America because two women tried and they both lost. The former Secretary of State Clinton and former Senator, and then former Vice President Kamala Harris. She ran, and Kamala also lost. So two women. So that's another key fact. Immigration arrests since the U.S. hit highest level since pandemic under Trump 2025. So people detained by ICE for the first time each month, and we see those numbers. In with Trump in 2025, March, it was 19,122. So this data excludes people arrested at the border crossing and detained in ICE facilities. So this number could even be higher. So that's another key fact. And then last year, the U.S. bought or imported more in goods and services than it sold or exported. So monthly imports and then exports, we see those numbers here. And then with regards to some more information with this whole presidency, I would like to share some more. And this is where some information. National Security Advisor Mike Waltz and his deputy are leaving the White House, sources say. And National Security Advisor Mike Waltz and his deputy Alex Wong will be leaving their post in the Trump White House, according to multiple sources familiar with their departure. So this is another very important aspect of how the Trump administration is certainly looking at the departures and how fast-moving administration in terms of all these numbers. And then at the end of the day, we just have to look at what other news will come out from this Trump administration. The departures of Waltz and Wong come after at least 6 NSC staffers were fired. That's according to CBS News. Fired in early April. Those previous firings came shortly after right-wing personality Laura Loomer visited the Oval Office and presented Mr. Trump with opposition research on NSC staffers whom she views as neoconservatives or not sufficiently loyal to the president, one source said. This is a developing story, I may add, and will be updated. So I also want to say that a lot of this news is also developing news. What that means is it may change with regards to more information that will come out. But this is the latest. At a Dubai conference, Trump's conflicts take center stage. This is Token 2049, Dubai, and this is where they're using cryptocurrency. And this is, again, for those who are interested in cryptocurrency, that is definitely taking a lot of, gaining a lot of ground under Trump administration. Tesla board opened search for a CEO to succeed Elon Musk, and Elon Musk didn't push back. With the profits and the stock price sinking, board members told Musk he needed to spend more time at company. And this is, again, how board functions. And Elon Musk is spending more time with regards to his other projects, including SpaceX, plus his involvement with Doge and working with Trump administration. Trump's use of Alien Enemies Act (AEA) that I've shared previously for swift deportations is illegal. Trump appointed judge rules. So this is the judge who was appointed by President Trump, and he basically has ruled on this. So this is again some of the things that we have to look at and just see how things shape up in democracy, and how we will see with regards to what's happening with the U.S. Constitution and what is not happening with the U.S. Constitution. They are both sides, because there are few people who are constitutionalist, and there are those who are constitutionalist but at the same time pragmatic. We are a nation of laws, but the U.S. Constitution is supreme, and the U.S. Constitution means that we have to look at what U.S. Supreme Court is ruling, and we also have to look at all the lower courts and the Circuit Court of Appeal. So it's a very complex system, but at the same time, we are a nation of laws. And in this country, if you follow the rules and you follow the law, and you basically are a good, decent human being, and you're honest, you have integrity, then I personally believe that you have no problem. You got all the best that the US can offer. But yes, if you are certainly trying to cheat people and not doing the right thing, then the law may catch up with you. And there is where the politicians and those who may not have the best intention, this is again my personal opinion, they may give different point of views and opinions, and that's how the public opinion is swayed in one direction or the other. So that's how we have to be very engaged. It's not easy. We all have our lives, we all have our jobs, our businesses, we have our families, and people may not be paying attention. And those who pay attention, sometimes they are anxious, sometimes they're not, and sometimes they're cautiously optimistic. And if you are an optimistic person, I will remind you that our best days are ahead of us, because United States of America, the beauty about the United States is that we continue to make progress. Sometimes you take 2 or 3 steps forward, and sometimes you have to take 1 or 2 steps back. And those who have fought for civil rights, they may be feeling that way. And those who may have no idea about civil rights and the history of this country, they may be thinking, okay, what's going on? There's nothing wrong. Well, that's where we have to talk to our neighbors. When we talk to our neighbors, we will get different types of responses and different types of opinions. And that's the beauty of living in a very diverse and a very vibrant country, a very open and a transparent society. And that's my opinion again. And you have all the rights to agree or disagree, or maybe staying completely on the fence or neutral. But at the end of the day, it's our country, it's our homeland. If we are not going to think about our country, then who will? And why would anyone else need to think about our country? It's up to us. It's up to us as patriots. It's up to us as citizens. It's up to us as civilians. And those whom we have elected, we have to engage with them and continue to ask them the right questions. That's our democracy and governance and all the various aspects and functions of the governments and all the different pillars, from executive branch to legislature, legislative branch, and then executive, judiciary, and then the 4th pillar that we all know and talk about is the media, mainstream media. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe my YouTube channel, share, and we'll continue with this with the traditional media. But without further ado, I would like to thank our key advertisers. And the first one is Affordable Insurance of Texas, AITinsurance.com. If you are anywhere in the US, you can call them 713-785-4000, or you can visit their website, AIT Affordable Insurance of Texas. That's what it stands for, AITinsurance.com, 713-785-4000. They will give you quotes within minutes. If you are looking for homeowners insurance, auto insurance, commercial insurance, business insurance, health insurance, you name it, all different kinds of insurance. They are the broker. They have a lot of different insurance carriers that they work with. So just contact AITinsurance.com, visit them, and then Mr. Salim and his team and everyone, 713-785-4000 is the number, AITinsurance.com. And then we also would like to thank our key advertiser sponsor, Roopsari, roopsari.com, Roopsari Palace under one stop shop, under one roof, hundreds and thousands of square footage, and for women, for men, for girls, for boys, and for all different age groups. They have trendy outfits, traditional clothing as well, shalwar kameez, kurta pajamas, traditional, and then sherwanis, very traditional dresses as well for weddings, wedding outfits, and then also for women, and a lot of trendy outfits for women as well, like all the evening gowns to, they call it different terms for it. So I would just say that for women, just go out and mention my name, Zishan, on air, and you'll get discounts as well. And they have artificial jewelry, all different kinds of jewelry, kundan jewelry, all these different jewelry at Roopsari. They're at Hillcroft. You cannot miss them.